We're going to continue looking at musical form for improv musicals. A standard verse is 16 bars long, so it can be divided into two 8-bar phrases. I'll call that the 2x8 form. In a previous video, I looked at making a song with 4 4-bar divisions, or the 4x4 form. You get that in a lot of show tunes and pop songs like Firework by Katy Perry.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel some paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you just gotta ignite?
Now let's compare that to a song that has a 16-bar verse divided into two 8-bar loops.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes
4x4 and the 2x8 forms are very important in all kinds of music, and they make up the vast majority of songs used in improv musicals. In this video, we're going to talk all about the 2x8 form. We have two 8-bar loops, but 8 bars is still a lot of space, and it can be divided in a lot of ways. I'm going to break down the 2x8 form into 4 categories. It may sound complicated, but we're going to look at a lot of examples, and it should make sense. The 4 categories are the slow form, the fast form, the mixed form, and the showtune form. Before we get into the first category, we need to talk about harmonic rhythm. When we talk about slow and fast here, we're talking about harmonic rhythm, which is the pace at which harmonies change in a song. And we're not talking in terms of actual duration, but in terms of musical time, such as beats and measures. A song that changes harmony every 4 measures would have a slower harmonic rhythm than a song that changes harmony every measure. For example, the song Happy Together changes harmony every 2 bars.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about it every night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight, so happy together.
The song Stray Cat Strut uses the same chord progression, but the harmonies change every 2 beats, so it has a faster harmonic rhythm.
black and orange stray cats sitting on a fence. Ain't got enough dough to pay the rent.
Now that we know what harmonic rhythm is, we can dig into the 2x8 form. The first category I'm calling the slow form. Here, each chord lasts for 2 bars, so there are 4 chords in the progression. Here are a few examples from popular music.
Yeah, it's pretty clear, I ain't no size so, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to do. Why? 'Cause I got that boom boom that all the boys chasing. All the right junk in all the right places.
Straight up now, tell me, is it gonna be you? Be together, oh, oh, oh. Am I caught in a hit error? Straight. When you were here before, I couldn't look you in the eyes. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather.
Here are a couple examples from show tunes.
You can be as fine as the hell you want when you make it love. You can be as fine as the hell you want when you make it love. You can be as fine as.
So what What if it's us? What if it's us and only us? And what came before won't count anymore or matter. Can we try that? What if it's you?
Here's a couple examples from improv musicals.
I've been a monk for 100 years. I started when I was young. Now I'm getting on in years.
Everything is going wrong today. I saw my ex when I had a dish of frozen yogurt.
The form is actually pretty easy to put into practice. All you need is a 4-chord progression. If you're doing a song in a major key, an easy progression to use is a 1 to 5 chord progression. I have a video on that chord progression, but here's the idea. Your first chord is a 1, the last chord is a 5, and the 2 middle chords are any combination of 2, 3, 4, and 6. Like 1, 3, 6, 5, or 1, 2, 4, 5. Another option is to make a progression that starts and ends on 1, like All About That Bass. The first and last chords are 1, the third chord is a 5, and the second chord is 2, 3, 4, or 6. For example, there's 1, 2, 5, 1, or 1, 4, 5, 1. For more of a modern pop sound, the 5 can be replaced by a 4, like 1, 2, 6, 4, which is used in Firework, or the very popular 1, 5, 6, 4, which is used in She's to Be Mine.
It's not simple to say. Most days I don't recognize me with these shoes and this apron. That place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not.
I hope to have a video in the future on minor chord progressions. But briefly, you can also do a 1 to 5 chord progression in minor, like 1, 6, 4, 5. Or for a rock sound in minor, you can use flat 7 instead of the 5, like 1, 6, 7, 1. This is used in straight up. The second 2x8 category I call the fast form. In the slow form, the harmony changed every 2 measures, which gave us a 4-chord phrase. In the fast form, the harmony changes every measure, which gives us an 8-chord phrase. I don't see this used a whole lot in improvised musicals. It's not easy to come up with an 8-chord progression, and it wouldn't be easy to remember it when you come around for the second verse. Here's a few pop songs that use the fast 2x8 form.
Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find a better place to play? You said, I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love. Monday.
Don't speak, I know just what you're saying. So please stop explaining. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. Don't speak.
Here's a showtune that uses the fast form.
What do you do with a BA in English? What is my life going to be? For you.
Now we'll take a look at an example from an improv show.
Matthew, don't you worry. Don't worry, you're
dishes, even safe garlic bread. If someone...
As I said before, it's not very common. The trick here is to use 2 sets of 4 chords. In this example, the 8 chords are made up of 2 distinct groups of 4 chords. The first 4 chords are a sequence over a pedal point. The second group is a cadence to 5. If you make distinct groupings, they're easier to think about and remember. For example, you can have a 4-chord group that comes back to 1, then you add a cadence to 5. The whole phrase sounds like this. That's just one way to build 2 groups of 4 chords. You can try making some on your own. Now we'll move into the next category of 2x8 form, and it's probably the most common type used in improv musicals. I call it the mixed form because it has elements of the slow and fast. That is, it has both 2 measure chords and 1 measure chords. An example is found in the song Stand By Me. It starts out with 2 long chords, 1 and 6. Then it has a short 4 and 5, which are followed by a long 1. Now here are a few more examples of pop songs that mix long and short chords.
I said, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting. All that's left to do is run. You'll be the prince and I'll be the princess. It's a love story. Baby, just say yes.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar, but I'm
Just this means you're sorry. You're standing at my door. Guess this means you take back all you said before. Like
Here's a couple examples from Broadway shows.
I remember that night, I just might regret that night for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys tripping over themselves to win our praise. I remember that dream like candlelight, like a dream that you can't quite place. But Alexander, I'll never forget the first time I saw your face.
downtown, where the folks are broke, you go downtown. Where your life's a joke, you go downtown. When you buy your token, you go on to Skid Row.
Now let's see some examples from improvised musicals.
Mr. Bakun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Make me wanna do ceramics with you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mr. Bakun.
Mr. Baku.
The drugs are taking effect. The drugs are taking effect. I don't know what to expect. The drugs are taking effect. Drugs are
Dad, you taught me everything I know.
Brother taught you some stuff.
I can throw a baseball better than anyone.
Now let's talk about some ways that you can go about making your own mixed progressions. You may have noticed that all of our examples started out with a slow harmonic rhythm and then accelerated to a faster rhythm. That's a very common pattern. We're going to look at several ways of doing that. We'll start with a basic 4-chord 1 to 5 progression. 1, 6, 2, 5. Let's use that progression in the slow form. Now we're going to look at different ways of adding faster harmonic rhythm to that progression. Variation 1. Add 1 over 5 before 5. In the first variation, we're adding a second inversion 1 chord before we play the 5 chord. So we're going to play a C major chord over G in the bass. Then we'll follow that with a G major chord over the same bass note G. The whole progression sounds like this. Variation 2. Accelerate to a long 1 chord. In the second variation, we're going to speed up the 2 and 5 chords so we can end with a long 1 chord. Variation 3. End with 1 to 5. The third variation is like the second, but we'll go back to 5 on the end. Variation 4. Add an extra dominant prep chord. In the next variations, we'll add an extra dominant prep chord before the 5. We're going to squeeze in a 4 chord before the 5, so our progression will be 1, 6, 2, 4, 5. But there are even different ways to do that. You could shorten the 2 chord and add the 5. Or you can shorten the 5 chord and add the 4. Variation 5, expand 1 with 4. In the fifth variation, we'll use the 4 chord to expand the 1. We start with the long 1 chord as before, but we go to a short 4 and then back to 1. We saw this used in My Life Would Suck Without You. Here's what our example sounds like. You could even combine these various techniques when you make a complete 16-measure verse. We've got one more category to talk about. I call it the showtune form because it's very common in showtunes. It's also used sometimes in pop and rock songs. I don't see it used very often in improvised musicals, but it's actually easy to use and it will be helpful to know how to recognize it. In the 2x8 showtune form, we will subdivide the 8 bars into smaller 2-bar groups. We can do this in a couple of ways. First, we can subdivide it into a set of A, B. The A section is a repeating 2-bar phrase, and the B section is a cadence. Or we can subdivide it into a set of A, B, C. Here, the A section is only played twice. It's followed by a pre-cadential phrase and then a cadence. By the way, this is just like the 4-bar loop form, but with faster harmonic rhythm. Check out my other video for more information about that. In our first example, we'll use the chord progression from Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. It uses the AAAB form. Now, here's the chord progression from Heartache Tonight by the Eagles. It uses the AABC form.
Some people like to stand up late. Some folks on hold on that long. But nobody wants to go home now. There's too much going on.
Here are a couple more pop songs with the showtune form.
Lady Madonna, children at your feet. Wonder how you managed to make ends meet. Well, it's a hot one. Like several inches from the midday sun. Like you whisper the words about everyone. But you stay so cool.
Here's some examples from showtunes.
Daddy said to be home by sundown.
Daddy doesn't need to know.
Daddy said not to go downtown.
Like I said, you're free to go.
Look around, the revolution's happening in New York.
Work.
When I meet the wizard, once I prove my worth, and then I meet the wizard, what I've waited for since birth, and with all.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me.
Here's an example that I found from an improvised musical.
Hello, sir, I'd like to apply here. I've been working down the street a while. Oh God, I just gotta make some money. I've been in.
Now we'll look at how to make your own showtune progressions. In this form, we have a repeating A section that is 2 measures. What can you do with 2 measures? Not a lot. You could just play 2 chords, 1 measure each. That means alternating between the 1 chord and another chord. In major, that's usually going to be the 4 or the 6. You play that a couple times and then finish it up by leading to a 5. Let's try alternating 1 with 6. For our A section, we could also have 3 chords. Let's do 1, 4, and 5. We could play it with a long 1 and then a short 4 and 5. This was also used in Blitzkrieg Bop. Or we could play it with a short 1 and 4 and a long 5. Another option for the A section is 4 short chords. This works pretty well for an upbeat swing sound. And that's just about all there is to know about 8-bar loops. Have fun experimenting on your own, and thanks for watching.